A voice of one calling in the wilderness, prepare the way for the Lord. Make straight in the desert a highway for our God. Every valley shall be raised up, every mountain and hill made low. The rough ground shall become level, and the rugged places a plain. And the glory of the Lord will be revealed, and all the people will see it together, for the mouth of the Lord has spoken. A voice says, cry out, and I say, what shall I cry? There are dozens, if not hundreds, of references to the wilderness or the desert in the Bible, and it conjures up lots of different images. I don't know what you think about when you think about the desert or the wilderness. You might think of it as a harsh, empty, barren place. You might think of it as lifeless. You might conjure up an image of people wandering aimlessly, thirsty and hungry, or a place of isolation. It could be any of those things. I've talked before about the Israelites in the desert and how they wandered in the desert for 40 years. And again, you get that image of them aimlessly wandering around and not having a direction, hungry, thirsty. But Jesus actually went into the desert as well for 40 days, and he went into the desert to actually prepare himself to commune with his Father, to make himself right, and to get away from the hustle and bustle, if you like, of what was about to happen. And John the Baptist also, conducted his ministry from out of the desert. So the desert isn't always a bad place and isn't always negative. I actually have sort of an affinity for the desert in some ways, because I spent a year working in a city in the desert, in a place called Palm Springs in California. So I'd have to go through the desert every week to get to work. And to me, it was a beautiful place, and a place where you could go and be quiet and be still. And at night, the stars would be amazing because there were no lights around. So the desert can also be a wondrous place. And I know we've talked about the last year and being in COVID a bit like being in the desert. And for some people, it has been difficult. It has been isolating. It has been a period of barrenness and emptiness. But it doesn't have to be. It can be a time when we get closer to God. It can be a time when we can, we can reflect on what has gone before and on what is ahead of us, preparing ourselves for the next step. And I'll talk about that a bit more tomorrow.